Welcome to Dr. Cindy Speaks, regular musings and reflections on politics, current events. Dr. Cindy Banyai is a mom and small business owner fighting for our water, our health, our community. She's running for the people of Southwest Florida, trying to flip Florida 19 from red to blue. Listen as she speaks truth to power.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is Dr. Cindy Banyai for Dr. Cindy Speaks, and I have a very important and very special guest here with me today. I have a Florida teacher, one of the teachers that has been politically targeted for the things that they posted online after the murder of Charlie Kirk. So, Big Mouth Media has been very interested in covering the truth of what has been going on with these teachers as they've been politically targeted, because we have been seeing information that's coming out that is not really indicative of this being an organic campaign that came from the community, but rather a very targeted attack against left-leaning teachers across the state of Florida. So what we're here today to talk about is from the mouth of one of those teachers telling us the experience that they have had and what has gone on. So welcome, Florida teacher.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about what went on, start from the beginning. So, we saw in real time Charlie Kirk get murdered, and then what happened?
It was, I was on my phone in my car on the way to pick up my kids on a main road. And I was like at a light and I posted a video of Charlie Kirk actually saying the words, something along the lines of that a few gun deaths a year is worth the Second Amendment. So I reposted that and I had a little comment on it. Nothing violent though. Nothing like that. And someone else screenshot it and blew it up, went viral around my area, basically. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then literally that, and as soon as it happened, I deactivated my Facebook because I knew, that this would be an issue. So I deactivated my Facebook so that way I couldn't be traced. And then my principal called me that night saying that they're getting a bunch of phone calls from the district and that I will be on paid leave for the next 2 days.
So let's just clarify a couple of things. So you were not at school,
No.
not in front of children.
Nope.
Right. And you did not say anything in the post that would be construed as violent?
Nope.
Was anything celebratory?
No.
Right. So that is what we've been seeing in terms of people responding to this, is that there's a lot of misinformation. People haven't really seen the posts in question, and they're just taking the word of folks that there was posts celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. So you're not celebrating, or you were not celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk.
No, correct. And I actually said this in the hearing that I never would celebrate a murder of anyone, especially something so, theatrical, like big deal drop, like it was in front of people. I would never celebrate that what I was doing was highlighting the irony of his words and beliefs and how he died. That was it. It was never me celebrating his death. It was more just, calling out the irony of it.
Right. The commentary, of course, that he himself becomes a victim of gun violence when he said, hey, it's worth a couple of deaths a year in gun violence to preserve our Second Amendment rights. And you were not the only person that made that observation. There were plenty of people who made that observation. And one thing that I definitely noticed was immediately after we saw the video, we saw what had happened with Charlie Kirk, there was immediate calls to target the left. Fort Myers Mayor Kevin Anderson did that. We saw JD Vance, right? We saw Donald Trump say things about, talking about targeting the left, and it's the violent left. In
Yeah.
the state of Florida, we saw Ron DeSantis call out people, and then we saw immediately the Secretary of Education start talking about teachers and teachers being targeted for this. So
And
it
board
really
members.
happened. Oh, yes.
Board
And board
members.
members. Yeah, that's right. Board members in various jurisdictions.
Yeah.
So it was, very surprising to me that that was the response, right? Usually, when there's this kind of very public death, the response is like, oh my gosh, it's so terrible. We have to figure what's going on. There was
Mhm.
none of that with this. It was very immediate. It's the last fall. How do you interpret that?
Um, honestly, I'm not surprised. Well, for one, I am very liberal and I'm known as an activist in my school community. And I am very vocal on Facebook, TikTok, everything. So honestly, it's when was this gonna happen? Right? Because I feel like if you're loud on the other side and you're giving different opinions or sharing actual factual information, you are evil. And I feel like I pretty much I crossed that line. Like I jumped it and they're done. Um so yeah, that's how I feel about it. I mean, I'm not surprised. I don't agree with it. I think it's super shitty. I know that over the summer I post something similar about Hulk Hogan and no one gave a shit. I'm allowed to curse
Yeah,
on
I
here, right?
noticed. I noticed the similarities with Hulk Hogan as well, but there wasn't the same kind of reverence.
Exactly.
So it was a very strange thing. But one thing that an organization that we've been talking about, Democracy Forever, they did an investigation into what had been going on with some teachers in a school district in Southwest Florida. And they had seen that this was not necessarily organic. The reports that were coming into schools were coming from fabricated, newly created emails. There was a lot of cut and paste on some of the complaints. There were people from not inside the district. Can you tell us a little bit about what you saw with your particular case?
So actually, I saw the exact same thing. I actually uploaded the investigation of all the emails and comments and stuff into ChatGPT. And ChatGPT said the exact same thing. Basically, a lot of these comments, they're not real, that they're just regurgitating the same thing over and again. You can tell that it's not authentic, like you said. I don't know if they know the districts know that or not. But I know that on my side, I noticed that. And I brought that up in my hearing that they know they have people that they know that they hired that said all these amazing things about me. I have years of compliments and comments from my observations and stuff from people you trust. And these emails and stuff that you don't even know these people. Anyone could be saying this.
Yeah. So
Anyone.
I was going to say, so some of the reports, some of the investigations that Democracy Forever had reviewed really didn't say anything complimentary about the teachers. It seemed to be very targeted, negative about what they said in the comments and the people that were responding to that. Was it similar in your case?
Sorry, say that again.
There wasn't anything positive about the teachers there, and there was no show of support in the
Right.
investigation reports that Democracy Forever had reviewed
Exactly.
from other teachers.
Yeah, exactly. And I asked about that. I said no one wrote emails positive, and some people said yes, some people said no. No one really gave me a direct answer. Um, but I know that there were positive emails being sent, even people that I know that were telling me that they were, emailing. So
So it really seemed one-sided in your case as well.
yes, and the other thing is the superintendent of my district kept saying that they weren't seeking disciplinary action.
Mhm.
And then out of nowhere, we're getting fired. So I thought maybe from hearing, "Oh, we're not seeking disciplinary action," I was like, "Okay, maybe not." But then I was like, "Well, maybe I'll get like suspended unpaid leave or something." I didn't think like 100% I'd be fired because again, like I said, this had nothing to do with my job.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't during school time. It wasn't in front of children. And, one thing that the Democracy Forever report pointed out as well is that the disruptions came from the administration's own reactions to these
Yes.
kind of, inauthentic reports about what had been said online. And so the case could have been very easily made that the schools were, not necessarily acting in good faith on this. And I just wanted to ask about your experience because do you feel like there was honesty coming from the administration in your case when they were telling various actors in this, teachers, the union, the public? Do you think that there was honesty from the administration in how they handled this?
I don't feel like there was honesty because, like I said, I felt like I didn't think I was going to get fired. It was like
Yeah.
totally like out of left field. Like I was kept being told that. Like I kept being told over and over again, "You're going back to work on this day. You're going back to work on this day. You're going back to work on this day." Never did anyone bring up being terminated.
Wow. Wow, that's awful. So tell us a little bit about the personal side on this. Were you one of the people who got, death threats or doxxed or something in response to these posts?
I personally did not receive. I got one email on my personal email. I don't know how, but I deactivated my stuff when it happened. So that's probably why. Um, but as far as school stuff, no, my husband got a couple. My sister, she ended up deleting her Facebook because I
Oh,
guess
wow.
she got a lot. Um, so I didn't really get many, and I don't know if I was doxxed because again, I'm not on social media right now.
Got it.
So, yeah.
So I imagine suddenly not being able to work and then being fired has been, can be challenging from a personal perspective. Talk a little bit about that and maybe also how the school district has handled this because, have you been able to talk or really fully understand the scope and magnitude of this investigation?
No, honestly, I was so when they said that they were investigating, I was like, what does that even mean? Because I mean, it's all on like the screenshot and everywhere. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I do feel like I wasn't told the truth. So yeah, I honestly this whole time when I was getting paid, I thought that I was going back to work. And then just to be told like Friday, "Oh, Monday, you're, you're
You
done."
know. Wow.
Yeah, like you're not getting paid anymore all of a sudden when there was like no conversation about any of these things
Wow.
before.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, that really does not seem like it was a very honest and transparent, conversation. I know that in the district where Democracy Forever was reporting, there was up to 10 teachers that were being targeted in that investigation, but they didn't even necessarily know that there were other teachers being targeted because they were essentially told to isolate and not speak to anybody. And I can only imagine that it has to be super scary and worrisome to be kind of targeted in this way and not know if you're going to have a job and not know that there are people there that support you. I mean, how were you feeling through this whole
I
process?
mean, honestly, it makes me not want to go back and work for them because to me this just tells our students that bullies win.
Mm.
Like and right there and parents always complain about kids bullying. Well, where do they get it from? You don't even know me.
Yeah.
And you're saying all these terrible things and trying to make someone like I saw someone literally say, like someone sent me a screenshot and it said, "Let's destroy her professional career." And it's like, well, you don't even know me. So because of a Facebook post, you want to destroy my life essentially. That's what your goal is. what does that tell our kids? And, in the district's letting it happen. And when I was showed these nasty comments and comments about me, I'm like, that's harassment. That's not
Yeah.
evidence.
Yeah.
That's evidence that I was being harassed and bullied online
Yeah.
for an
That's an
opinion.
excellent point.
For an opinion.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I think that it's really sad, and I'm very, sorry for what you've been going through, but this is a really disgusting thing that has fomented during this time. And I do take it right back up to Donald Trump. We have plenty of actors here in Florida who are following, desperately want to be as terrible as Donald Trump. Like Ron DeSantis always seems to be running in his shadow, trying to be as
Yeah.
horrible as he can. But they're both of this fascist archetype where targeting groups that they don't like and to make a scapegoat out of somebody else seems to be a really common thing that they're doing. And unfortunately, we have to live it in real life, right? As it's real people who are being targeted, just like we
Yeah.
saw the judge who voted against Donald Trump's interests got her house burned down yesterday. So this has really been a very scary time for me, as also somebody who's on the left and been speaking out. I did in my own town put out a formal request for apology from Mayor Kevin Anderson because he said that, oh, we have to target the left and it's their fault and they're evil. And I said, well, who you think you're talking about in Fort Myers? It's clearly me. Right. So I'm going to need you to apologize because we had nothing to do with Charlie Kirk.
Mhm.
And it's a really crazy time. And I feel for you and your family. And before we leave here today, obviously we're going to we're keeping your identity a secret here because these folks have been facing retaliation in their communities and online, and they've also been told, by the way, under strict penalties that they should not be speaking out in any way, shape, or form. I mean, if this is not like a chilling, effect of all of this, I don't know what is. Because everybody is scared to death. I had one teacher, by the way, contacting me from a burner phone, like they're a friggin' fugitive. It's insane.
It really is.
And
I keep joking, saying they're acting like I did it. Like I feel like that is the level. Like I just don't get it. And the other thing I want to say about all these leaders that you're referring to, I don't think teachers should be held to a higher standard than the president of the United States. If
right,
he can post all of that hate talk, then no one should get fired for a Facebook post.
right. Yeah,
And
that's a good point.
that's
Yeah,
all I
I,
have to
I
say
did
on
hear
that.
that. That was a weird thing about, just one more digression before
Mhm.
we leave here
Yeah.
today. But that people kept saying, oh, we have to hold teachers to a higher standard. We have to hold teachers to a higher standard. And it struck me as very interesting because I don't know how many other professions there are where we demand so much of a person for a paycheck, right? Like we expect them to, go above and beyond in the classroom, bring in their own materials, take various levels of abuse and harassment from children and from their parents. And then yet they can't even hold their own opinion
Yeah.
outside of school. I don't know. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that. I mean, I definitely agree that like in the classroom and stuff,
Right.
yeah, there's a certain level of decorum,
Right.
but I don't think that teaching is so super special that we have to say, oh, you can't even be a person anymore if this is going to be your job.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, that's why so many educators are leaving. And what the sad thing is that this only hurts the kids
Yeah.
because however many like we know in Florida there is a huge teacher shortage,
Yeah.
especially in public school system. And the classes are already over full. There's already not enough funding, and now you're cutting more teachers for Facebook posts.
Yeah.
That is what is insane to me. My thoughts on it is at the end of the day, this hurts our kids.
Yeah. Definitely
Yeah.
does. What are some other final thoughts? Anything else that you want to say, get out there publicly? I know one of the school districts is going to have their final say on whether or not the 10 teachers in their district in Lee County are going to be terminated tomorrow during their board meeting. So any final thoughts that you want to get out there ahead of that decision?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just shocked still. Honestly, I don't really have many thoughts. I don't agree with any of this because I am a good teacher. I've been teaching for over 10 years. I've been in education for almost 15. Again, I could pull up many, many years of amazing compliments on observations um it doesn't make any sense for me or anyone to be fired when they're effective and been doing it for many years and never being in trouble to making a Facebook post just because you don't agree with it, and then you basically fire them and everyone wants to try to destroy their life. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
That's what I have to
Pretty
say about it.
extreme.
Yeah, it's
Pretty
extreme. Yes, that's the perfect word for it. It's extreme. And in my opinion, I think it's all politically driven. Like you said, it's because now the school districts feel like they have to do it, fire us because of what the uppers are saying. Um, and really another thing is too, mid-election, the elections are coming up next year for the board.
Yeah.
So, and people
Right.
are going to want them to make certain decisions.
Right. Yeah. It does seem like there's a lot of sucking up, especially here in my district with, Denise Carlin came in full MAGA, kind of out of nowhere, frankly. Full MAGA, decided that this is what she was going to do. So she's got a lot of, kissing up to do.
Yeah, and some board members are
take her position.
there's board members in various districts that are endorsed by DeSantis. So if DeSantis is up there, online saying these teachers shouldn't have a job and they need to take their license, what do you think the school districts are going to do? It's
Right.
like what you said. It basically even took the option away from districts to actually do an authentic hearing and investigation because the higher ups were so extreme and the districts are heavily influenced by their governor, especially ours. So yeah, I mean, that's just honestly, that's the way the cookie crumbles. I don't agree with it and I want to fight it, but it is what it is.
Politics on it. Well, so thank you so much for joining us here today. I really appreciate you coming on and speaking with us and talking about this very delicate issue. Unfortunately, I think this is probably not the first time that or not going to be the last time, rather, that we will see people being politically targeted. But this has definitely been something that has been seen across the state of Florida, and just appreciate your strength and do hope the best for you and your family.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And again, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. This has been Dr. Cindy Speaks with Dr. Cindy Banyai and my special guest, Florida teacher. Love to have your support going to our website, www.bigmouthmediafl.com, and get a paid subscription. Otherwise, you can listen to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Dr. Cindy Speaks. If you'd like to learn more about her, go to cindybanyai.com or connect with her directly at vote@cindybanyai.com. We love connecting with people.